today I'll be speaking to you on this 75 round drum for the AK-47 by KCI. So this Korean mag is made very tough, very durable. It's all steel. I'm spin around for you. As you know, I haven't had much luck with my other drums that I've had. This is actually the first drum that I ever bought. I've probably had it for probably around 2 years now. I was at one of my local pawn shops and I saw it in the shelf for $50. I said, $50? I might have to get that. I just Googled it before I started this video and I saw them online for around $70 or even $100 depending on where you look. So $50 out the door is not a bad deal, but my fear was that it wasn't gonna seat properly in my weapon because I have a Palmetto State Army AK-47, what they call it, AK-47, what they call it. And you saw it in one of my previous videos. Some of the magazines, especially the steel ones, won't seat correctly in the weapon. So that was my fear, but I brought it home. This thing seats perfectly in it, and I love it to death. So again, it's one of the Korean mags. It doesn't have any brands on it, but it does say the whole made in Korea. So it is KCI. 75 round steel, performs flawlessly. And you're gonna see here soon, because I'm about to insert a clip of me shooting it. This was probably September of last year. I was doing a 75 round dump, mag dump, drum dump with the weapon. It was my first time shooting it, and it performed flawlessly. So take a look at this clip. All right, folks, what's up? So here's what I've been waiting for. AK-47, 75 round drum, mag dump. It's one of my AKs, Palmetto State Army, PS AK-47. I bought a couple years ago, and I'm gonna take a look at it, see how it does, all right? Safety off, get one in the chamber. What a good angle. Let's try this way. Oh, good. I'll be right here. So far, so good. This looks so sexy. Weird sounds. We're out. And the target will fill over a little bit. So uh-oh. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. You know, some say the camera adds 15 pounds to you or whatever, but I think my vest so tight on me made me look like I was 50 more pounds than I really am, but that's besides the point. So as you could see in that clip, this drum performed flawlessly in my PS AK-47. It sat in there well, all the rounds fed without any kind of failures. I had to load it with, I don't think it was some comparable rounds to these, just a normal 7.62 by 39 rounds, steel cased, lacquer covered, I guess. I can't remember, but I've shot a lot of things through. I had them kind of mixed up in the magazine, that's what I remember, and they all ran flawlessly, so that's not really a big deal with that. So here's the magazine, the drum. We're gonna open it up here for the next part of this video. And there it is. So if you see here, there's this kind of wind up knob like we have on our, you know, little toys that we grew up on. You wind up the wind up doll and it gets the spring going. Same kind of idea inside this drum. It also has two little clamps here that keep the door closed. It looks beautiful inside. I don't know, there's something about it that looks beautiful. So after you open those two, and oh, voila. There it is. So if you look inside, you see the rounds placed inside. There are 75 rounds inside there, and you see this button here. I can press it easily right now because the spring is not compressed. I hadn't wound up that little wound up knobby knob on the other side, so it's not constricted or anything. So what you do is when you get this magazine, You'll get it, and this will already be, the spring will not be wound up, so this can move freely if I were to take these rounds out. What I won't do right now, I'll just kind of just elaborate on how you load it, because it's very, very simple. When I was looking at YouTube videos on it, I said, wow, I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to mess up my drum, but this is kind of idiot proof. There's not really a way to mess it up. There is a way to load it semi-incorrectly where you're going to probably miss 1 or 2 rounds. You won't have space because you've not put certain rounds in a certain spot. You can find some other videos. There are some great ones with these same kind of drums that show different ways to load it to make sure you can get the 75th round in, or ways you can load it to get the 76th round in. But to me, that's not too much of a big deal. There's also parts of it where they're wanting you to load these little small parts in first. I'll probably insert a picture so you can see what I'm talking about, but there are different parts of it where there are little gaps. Well, here you go, you can see right here. There are gaps like this. And they're saying like, well, not they, but there are people that are saying you should load those first and then go into loading these larger gaps. To me, it doesn't matter. I've loaded them both ways, so it won't really matter. It'll still function. One of the main issues that I've seen is that people have a interesting time with figuring out how to load up this part that feeds into the rifle. So when you are loading it, you'll spin this area around where this probably feed ramp area is right here. So you spin it all the way around, but won't spin any further. So you know that it's actually fully turned to where it can no longer turn. And it's at that spot where once you wind up the spring, you're good to go to fire because it's all moving stuff around. It may sound kind of weird me saying it, but once you get it, you'll understand. But you get it to this location, what I do is I went ahead and fed the rounds initially with my fingers up here to get in this area. And then I just went ahead and placed them one by one by one by one in there. So once you get them once you get them fed in there, it's very simple. No matter how I sound, it's very simple to do. Just feed them in there. Not close, there we go. Close the flap. Lock the 2 hinges. And then you'll turn this knob probably 3 whole times clockwise. And you can hear the spring going. There's no way to mess this up. You'll keep on turning until you cannot turn anymore. And once it stops turning, I'm gonna keep turning so I can demonstrate it. Yeah, almost there, hanging there. There we go. It stopped turning now. So once it stops turning, you know that it's fully loaded, the spring is wound up, and we're ready to fire. It will not fire unless you turn this up. You probably get 1 round chambered, but there's no spring to feed another round in the chamber, obviously. So it's mandatory to get that wound up. Once it's wound up, you'll see that those rounds are no longer loose in this top area. You can't push them down as much anymore. And now it's like a normal magazine that will function correctly. So say you were shooting 2-3 shots, it started raining outside, you have to leave. Your thought is, okay, what do I do to get the rounds out? Undo both of these little tabs, open it up, and you can dump your mags out, dump your rounds up. But remember, didn't you just wind up that spring? Maybe you shot a few rounds, but that spring is still wound up a little bit, right? So how do you release that? This little button right here, you'll press it down. You can use your finger, yes. You can use your palm, yes, but I would recommend using an end of a magazine or something because, I don't know, you do it like this, you can feel the vibrations, and it's just really awkward on your hand trying to touch that because it kind of spins a little bit, and some of these can kind of go array. I'll do it right quick. Let me grab something. But it's really awkward at first if you do it without knowing what to expect, kind of catch you off guard. But my spring is wound up, and I'm going to mash this down to release the pressure on that spring, okay? So there you go. As you heard, the spring unwound itself. And now I'm back to normal, like I usually have my magazine or drum loaded with the tension not there. Some people don't have a problem with loading the spring, winding the spring up to have that tension there, but to me, I don't think I want to do it. There are different clips and reviews and stuff, or just people with different knowledge on drums or weapons that will speak against any kind of spring tension on any of their magazines or drums. Me, I really don't care that much about that part of it, but you know, why not just leave it that way just in case? You know what I mean? Since this is something I'm not gonna use most of the time, I'd rather still have it just in a normal capacity. I mean, winding it up for those 20 seconds doesn't matter. I just don't want that spring wound up, especially in this kind of type of magazine. I don't know. I don't use these much. I'm not that familiar with how they're made up in between these metals, but I'll leave it like this. Like I said, the spring is not wound up like it used to be. I have it fully loaded and put in my safe, and here she is. 75 round drum by KCI. This is the one. Like people say, that's the one. This is the one. If you are looking for any kind of magazine or any kind of drum for your AK-47, this is one that I recommend you to get. 75 round drum, made in Korea, made by KCI. Look in your local pawn shops. Go online to look, but keep searching because the first place I saw when I Googled it had it for $99.99. And I went ahead and kept scrolling. Some places was out of stock. Some places said, I don't know what you're talking about. But some places had it for $69.99. So keep looking. Don't get bamboozled and get your money blown on some website that's kind of charging an arm and a leg. Keep searching for a low price of it. Seems very sturdy. Like I said, it's made out of metal. And I haven't dropped it or anything, but you can tell this little rub and stuff here from being loaded into the weapon, but that's normal. But that's what I was talking about. So right here, you can obviously press the rounds down because there's no spring tension holding it up, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't cause any kind of damage or anything like that. So there she is. Out of my 3 mags, this is the only one that hasn't failed me. And I love her to death, and I'm going to keep her forever. And it looks just fantastic in the rifle. As you saw in my previous part of the video, you can see me shooting it, and it just looks really good. Kind of reminds you of old early 1900s Tommy gun or something like that, with a big round circular drum. And it's metal. It just gives that old throwback feel. So there it is, the KCI AK-47 75 round drum. Hope you've enjoyed this clip. And if you've been looking for this drum and you had some questions about it, here you go. Hopefully I answer them for you, and hopefully you can add this to your collection, and hopefully this video benefited you all. You all be blessed. Have a great weekend. Randy Savage 50 checking out.